I was 16 at the time, and he was 42. He did email me, and then very quickly it turns into this whole thing on the phone, saying all these things that you shouldn't say to a child.
Explosive opening, no context, just the accusation, raw, documented, sits for a beat, the words hang in the air. A 16-year-old, an adult, emails escalating to phone calls, a child hearing things no child should ever hear. This isn't rumor, this isn't tabloid speculation, this is testimony. He starts at 18 on the internet. Those 5 words change everything. The implication lands like a sledgehammer. Gunn isn't asking a question, he's confirming something everyone in the industry allegedly knew. If Leto starts at 18 online, where does he start in person? The answer is in that testimony. 16.
Rumors that you and Jared Leto are together.
But I thought Miley Cyrus broke us up.
Audience laughing, Ellen laughing. It's adorable. It's gossip. It's what America tunes in for. 2 beautiful people, a celebrity romance. Ellen making it cute, making it entertainment, making it harmless. Except it wasn't harmless. Not at all, but here's what nobody was connecting. These 3 moments, separated by geography, by time, by the carefully maintained distance the industry creates between truth and entertainment, these 3 moments weren't coincidental. They were chapters in the same story. And one of those chapters was broadcast live on Ellen's couch to millions of Americans while the people running the industry allegedly watched and said nothing. This is the story of how one of Hollywood's biggest stars allegedly preyed on underage women. How 2 men, a Disney actor and a Marvel director, allegedly tried to warn the world. How America's favorite talk show host allegedly weaponized her platform to normalize it. And how it took a BBC documentary and one celebrity's tears to finally make people care. Let's rewind to May 16th, 2018, a Tuesday afternoon, a single tweet that changed the entire trajectory of this story. Except nobody realized it at the time. And 8 years later, when the truth finally came out, that tweet would become the most prophetic receipt in Hollywood history. A Disney star named Dylan Sprouse. He was 25 at the time, already established in the industry, already carrying the credibility that comes from being on a successful network show, did something that almost nobody in Hollywood ever does. He didn't just whisper the allegations in a private room. He didn't leak it anonymously to a gossip blogger. He didn't vent it to a therapist and hope it stayed confidential. He called it out publicly, on Twitter, under his own name, to an Oscar winner. And he did it in a way that couldn't be ignored or reframed. Yo, at Jared Leto, now that you've slid into the DMs of every female model aged 18 to 25, what would you say your success rate is? Let's break down what Sprouse just did. He's not asking if Leto slides into DMs. He's stating it as fact. He's not being vague or suggestive. He's identifying a specific pattern. Female models, aged 18 to 25, targeted via direct message. He's publicly accusing an Oscar winner of predatory behavior. And he's doing it in May 2018, when cancel culture was at its peak, when one wrong tweet could demolish a career. Sprouse knew the risk, and he did it anyway, because he'd seen the pattern. In 2018, the rumors were everywhere in certain circles. The industry knew. Photographers knew. Model agencies knew. People who worked around Leto knew. And Sprouse, who'd risen to fame as a kid actor and understood the vulnerability of young people in this industry, decided that his platform, his credibility, meant he had a responsibility to speak up. So he tweeted, and he waited for the industry to respond. But then something unexpected happened. Someone else decided to reply. And when they did, the implication got even darker. James Gunn, director of Guardians of the Galaxy, the man who would eventually become the architect of the entire DCU, the most ambitious superhero universe ever created. A man with enormous power over which projects get greenlit, which careers get elevated, which voices get platforms. He saw Sprouse's tweet, and he responded with sarcasm that hit harder than any direct accusation. He starts at 18 on the internet. 4 words, but the implication is devastating. Gunn is saying, yes, everything Sprouse said is true, and it's worse than that. If Leto's starting point with models online is 18, his starting point in person is younger, significantly younger. Why would Gunn make that connection? How would he know it unless he'd witnessed it, unless he'd heard about it, unless the pattern was so blatant, so obvious, that anyone paying attention to Leto's behavior could see the progression, older in public, progressively younger in private. Now we have 2 people, Sprouse and Gunn, both with industry credibility, both with something to lose, both allegedly confirming the same pattern. The tweet thread sits there, timestamped May 16th, 2018, a digital receipt, evidence, a warning, and then nothing happens. Jared Leto doesn't get investigated. He doesn't doesn't apologize. He doesn't deny it publicly. He just keeps moving forward, like a man who understood something fundamental about how Hollywood operates. As long as you have the brand, as long as you have the Oscar, as long as you have the fan base and the touring revenue and the cultural cachet, the industry will protect you. Leto kept acting. He kept winning roles. He kept going on tour. He kept dancing on Ellen's stage in front of millions of people. He kept the machine running while Dylan Sprouse's tweet, the warning, the documentation, the timestamp, got buried. But here's what makes this story even darker. Dylan Sprouse's tweet wasn't the first warning. It wasn't even the strongest evidence that Jared Leto was targeting young women. The evidence had been building for over a decade. And Ellen, America's sweetheart, the keeper of kindness, the woman telling everyone to be nice to each other, she allegedly participated in covering it up, not by remaining silent, by speaking. Let's go back to February 2014, 4 years before Dylan Sprouse's tweet, 4 years before James Gunn's darker implication, 4 years before we'd even used the word predator in public about Jared Leto. Ellen DeGeneres' talk show is at absolute peak cultural dominance. She's been on the air for 11 years at this point. She's done over 2,500 episodes. She's given away over $100 million in gifts. She's become synonymous with kindness. Literally, that's her brand. Be kind to one another. That's her catchphrase. That's what she tells America every single day. And America believed her. They believed she meant it. They believed Ellen was different from other talk show hosts, that she actually cared about treating people well. And then she sat down with Lupita Nyong'o, rising star, Oscar nominee, beautiful, talented, a woman in a vulnerable position on national television, promoting a film, trying to be gracious, trying to be engaging. And Ellen allegedly decided to use her platform to turn a predatory relationship into gossip.
You're actually in tabloids as well, which means you've really made it, because there's rumors that you and Jared Leto are together.
But I thought Miley Cyrus broke us up. That was the last thing I heard.
The audience laughs. Lupita laughs nervously, knowing she's being set up but playing along. That's what guests do on talk shows. Ellen smiles that disarming smile. And in that moment, the machinery does its job. The allegations become entertainment. The rumors get normalized. The predatory behavior gets a national platform and gets sold back to America as cute celebrity gossip. But here's what Ellen allegedly knew or should have known at that exact moment in February 2014. Multiple entertainment outlets had already reported that Miley Cyrus, who was 21 years old, was allegedly hooking up with Jared Leto. Not a rumor, reported, documented. And not just casual dating. She'd allegedly stayed overnight at his house in LA. In early February, a few weeks before Lupita sat down on Ellen's couch, Jared Leto was 42 years old. Do the math. 42 minus 21 equals 21. A 21-year age gap. But more important, a 21-year-old woman and a 42-year-old man whose entire documented history was targeting younger women. The New York Post had reported back in 2005, 9 years before Ellen's couch moment, that a 33-year-old Leto was aggressively pursuing teen models. Teen, that's not speculation, that's not celebrity gossip. That's predatory targeting of underage girls. And Ellen, in 2014, would have been aware of these stories. They circulate in the industry, they're part of the oral history, everyone knows who the predators are. Everyone. And yet the industry protects them anyway. And Ellen turned it into a punchline. The way Ellen says it, the timing, the setup, she's weaponizing her platform. She's using her credibility as the nice one, the one who tells people to be kind. And she's leveraging that credibility to make America think a relationship between a 42-year-old and a 21-year-old is adorable. That's not innocent gossip. That's complicity. Ellen's couch becomes a washing machine that day. Jared Leto, a man allegedly targeting women decades younger than him, gets sanitized. The allegations get spun into romantic narrative. The predatory age gap becomes a cute celebrity romance. And America, watching millions strong from their living rooms, absorbs the message, this is fine. This is entertainment. This is what rich, beautiful people do. And somewhere, Jared Leto watches the clip. He sees Ellen smiling. He hears the audience laughing. He understands that his behavior, his documented, reported on, industry-known behavior, has just been blessed by the most powerful talk show host in America. On that same couch, on that same show, Ellen had spent nearly 2 decades telling people to be kind. Those 2 words became her brand. She repeated them constantly. She made kindness her entire identity. She built a network TV empire on the foundation of being the nice one. And then, with millions of people watching, she used that platform to normalize a predatory relationship. Think about what she's doing. She's not just joking about Miley and Leto. She's telling her audience that this is acceptable. She's using her position as a moral authority to legitimize behavior that, by any objective measure, is predatory. A 42-year-old man targeting a 21-year-old woman. Ellen makes it cute. Ellen makes it funny. Ellen makes it something America should be entertained by rather than disturbed by. And the machine keeps keeps turning. Here's what people who've worked in Hollywood for decades know. There are open secrets. Everybody knows them. They're discussed at parties, in green rooms, at industry events. Oh, that guy? Yeah, he has a thing for really young models. That producer? Don't let your young friends near him. That actor? He cycles through interns. The industry knows. The industry has always known. The industry chooses not to care. Because the Oscar matters more than the victim. By the time Ellen made that joke on her couch in 2014, the pattern around Jared Leto had been forming for nearly a decade. Let's trace it. 2005, New York Post reports that a 33-year-old Leto is aggressively pursuing teen models. Teen, that's the word used, not young women. Teen. 2012, DJ Ally comes forward on Facebook, sharing her own experience. She's trying to warn people, she's trying to be heard, the industry allegedly ignores her. 2014, Ellen makes the Miley Leto joke on national television, legitimizing the relationship and allegedly signaling to the industry that this behavior is acceptable. 2018, Dylan Sprouse tweets the warning. James Gunn confirms the darker implication. The internet sees it, the industry sees it, and nobody acts. For 8 years, from 2018 to 2026, Jared Leto keeps working. He's in movies, he's on tours, he's headlining festivals, he's performing at major events. He's being celebrated, nominated, elevated. The machine keeps him moving. Why? Because the Oscar matters more than the victim. Because the box office matters more than the truth. Because a star with a massive fan base is more valuable to the industry than the safety of young women. But then, something shifted. Something cracked. Not because of Dylan Sprouse's tweet, that warning had sat for 8 years. Not because of James Gunn's implication, that had been ignored too. Not because of the rumors, the reports, the whispered stories. It cracked because a documentary crew decided to do what journalists are supposed to do. They investigated. They talked to the women, they corroborated their stories, they found evidence, they built a case, and then they gave those women a microphone. In 2026, the BBC released a documentary with a simple, devastating title, Jared Leto, Hollywood's Dark Secret. 10 women, 4 of them were underage when Leto allegedly targeted them. Allegations spanning from 2002 to 2016. 14 years. A documented, consistent, corroborated pattern. What made this different from the whispers, the rumors, the warnings? The BBC allegedly did something the industry never does. They corroborated everything. They talked to friends and family members of the victims. They looked at pictures. They reviewed messages. They found evidence that wasn't just he said, she said. They found proof that the pattern was real, deliberate, and allegedly known by people around Leto. Former staffers from 30 Seconds to Mars allegedly said they were uncomfortable with the age gaps. They said everyone knew. Everyone allegedly knew about the young women. And allegedly, nobody stopped it.
How old were you this time?
I was 16 at the time, and he was 42. He did email me, and then very quickly it turns into this whole thing on the phone, saying all these things that you shouldn't say to a child.
16 years old, a child, an adult pursuing her via email and then escalating to phone contact, saying things to a child that no adult should ever say. This isn't innuendo, this isn't suggestion. This is direct, documented predatory behavior. And this victim wasn't alone. 9 others came forward, 10 women total, 8 of them with no connection to each other, all telling the same story about Jared Leto, the same pattern, the same targeting, the same progression from initial contact to escalating behavior. The BBC allegedly built an airtight case. And then Jared Leto did what powerful men in Hollywood always do. He denied everything. I have never sexed anyone in my entire life. These claims are absolutely and categorically false. Not, I don't remember. Not, I may have acted inappropriately. Complete denial. Absolute refusal to engage with the reality of 10 women's documented accounts, corroborated timelines, and evidence allegedly reviewed by journalists. He's defiant. He's still working. He's planning a European tour. He's acting like a man who believes the machinery will protect him even now. But something was different this time. Because the machinery had a problem. Miley Cyrus. Miley Cyrus was the 21-year-old woman that Ellen joked about on her couch 12 years earlier. She was the woman who'd allegedly spent time at Leto's house. She was the woman who'd alleged him get protected, promoted, and celebrated while her youth allegedly got weaponized. And in 2026, when the documentary came out, Miley broke down in tears and revealed exactly what Ellen had done for Jared Leto. When the BBC documentary dropped, it wasn't some niche investigation that industry people would quietly discuss and then and ignore. It was released to the public. It was picked up by major media outlets. It was unavoidable. 10 women's faces, 10 women's names, 10 women's testimonies, all simultaneously public. And that's when Miley Cyrus decided to speak. She didn't just talk about her own experience with Leto. She talked about what Ellen had done. She talked about watching Ellen make it cute on national television. She talked about understanding, in real time, what the industry was telling her: your age doesn't matter, your safety doesn't matter, the brand matters, the box office matters, the Oscar matters. Ellen's couch moment from 2014 transformed from innocent gossip into complicity, because now the timeline was undeniable. 2014, Ellen joked about Miley and Leto on her couch. She made it cute, she normalized it, she gave it the stamp of approval from America's favorite talk show host. Meanwhile, the pattern was already 12 years old. Leto had been targeting young women since at least 2002. 2018, Dylan Sprouse and James Gunn allegedly tried to warn the world. The internet saw it, the industry saw it, and nothing happened. 2026, the BBC gave 10 women a microphone. 4 of them were children when Leto allegedly targeted them, and the public finally couldn't look away. Wow, so sick of hearing these men in power intentionally underage, naive, vulnerable girls. What is wrong with them? The man leads a cult. There have been rumors of him exploiting women for years. It's shameful that Hollywood keeps hiring him. The public, the actual viewers, the people who'd watched Ellen make Leto cute on daytime TV, who'd thought Ellen was genuinely nice, who'd believed in her message of kindness, they felt the betrayal. They realized Ellen hadn't just made an innocent joke. She'd allegedly participated in covering up a predator's behavior. Ellen's fall from grace wasn't just about her being mean to people behind the scenes, or humiliating guests on her show, or running a toxic workplace. When the Leto story broke and people reconnected it to Ellen's 2014 couch moment, they understood something deeper. Ellen had allegedly weaponized her Be Kind brand to protect a predator. Think about the cynicism embedded in Ellen's actions. She built an entire empire on the foundation of niceness. Be kind. That was her message. Every single day, she told America to be kind while simultaneously using her platform to normalize a predatory relationship. That's not just hypocrisy. That's psychological manipulation on a mass scale. Ellen's credibility as a nice person made her the perfect weapon for normalizing predatory behavior. When Ellen laughed about Miley and Leto, she wasn't just making a joke. She was telling millions of people, this is acceptable, this is cute, this is what kindness looks like. Not protecting vulnerable young women from predatory men, but making their exploitation entertaining. And Ellen understood her power. She knew that by putting a predatory relationship on her couch and making it funny, she was allegedly helping to protect Leto. She was allegedly giving him cover. She was allegedly signaling to the industry that the behavior was acceptable. The machine had its three-pronged attack. Ellen sanitized it on daytime television, making it entertainment. The industry protected Leto by continuing to hire him, promote him, celebrate him. Any attempt to expose the truth, like Dylan Sprouse's tweet, got buried under the noise and the momentum of a machine that had decided this man was too valuable to hold accountable. For 12 years, that machine worked. Ellen's couch allegedly sanitized the rumors, made them cute, made them entertainment, while Sprouse's tweet allegedly exposed the pattern, made it public, made it real, and Hollywood allegedly chose the couch over the tweet, the platform over the warning, the brand over the truth. Until now, when the documentary allegedly made both impossible to ignore. The receipts are now public. The timeline is documented. Miley's tears are on camera. Ellen's complicity is undeniable. Jared Leto still denies everything. He's still planning his tour. He's still defiant. The machine keeps trying to protect him. But something changed in 2026. For the first time, the Oscar didn't shield him. The brand didn't protect him. And Ellen's couch moment, the exact moment she allegedly weaponized kindness to protect a predator, became the most damning evidence of her own hypocrisy. The warning had finally been heard. The tweet's timestamp was finally relevant. The women's voices, amplified by a documentary crew who did what the industry allegedly refused to do, finally mattered more than the machinery that wanted to keep them quiet. The Oscar still mattered. The box office still mattered. But now, for the first time, so did the truth.